Hey, everybody. Welcome to Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast. It is season 2, episode 8. I'm Joe Sebergandio, and I'm here with the Evil One, Evil Ed. Welcome.
Thanks.
I don't know what tough to time say. With that?
I'm still laughing at what was going on before we got on. Hi, everyone.
Well, the 3, 2, how'd it go? 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Oh, I gotta.
Hold on, wait.
I gotta do something.
Well, you got it after the second one. You'll notice.
I gotta do something.
It's D1 Promotions, folks. Only the best for us. In fact, we should begin the podcast before we get to another special guest who's here, Jake Moe. Jake, good to see you. Handsome bastard. Rocking the RV. I've already had a tough time with that one, too. I never was able... Yeah, the RCVA.
Throws you off, yeah. It looks like
kind of looks like
a
Pepsi logo.
Kind of, right?
Yeah, he can wear that.
Yeah, traditional.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for bringing in Frankenstein.
Yep.
The updated version.
Oh, yeah.
As well as rolling down that sneak peek, clean, small, it just looks fast drag bike that you built. Thank you for that. We'll later on the podcast, we'll bring it up to the Pioneer promotion table and we'll stick it up there and you can do a little walk around. And then Ed, you've made some progress on your vintage Bonanza.
Yeah.
You were busy for how many weeks there?
2 weeks.
I like what you've done.
Yeah, it looks
I
good.
mean, it's just, we're going to keep that original OG paint. You got the gold wheels that work on that. Did you see the gold wheels?
Oh, yeah.
They work, right?
Real nice.
I love the brake setup. I know you said it's the stock setup, but it works. We saw you roll it down the driveway.
Yeah, it works too good.
Yeah. Well, I was saying that the same when you rebuilt my Bonanza. I don't know if it was a 1400, wherever that BC 1400.
Did I reline the shoes on that one too?
Whatever the fuck you did to that thing, I'm still stopping. It's like Ed. It's like because it went from Ed. These brakes don't work.
Yeah, most of those drum brakes, like, man, they're all wobbly or something's wrong with them.
But you know, with something that small, I like a good brake.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, I really do.
Yep.
In fact, I'm going to let you decide what brake setup you'd like to maybe use on that Temecula Bob bike.
Okay.
I've got a couple options in there. I was going to, there's traditional drum brakes on that one, almost like a disc brake setup, but we're getting a little bit off base. We'll get back to all these little bikes that we've got around here. The big thing is we've got the Minibike show coming up. It's a month away. October 14th at CV Park here in beautiful La Crescenta. You can register online now, joesminibikereunion.com. It's $20. It's cheap. It's easy. Spectators. A spectator is somebody who just rolls in to check it out. He's free. He brings the kids, the dogs. There's a dog park. It's at beautiful CV Park. And I would like to thank the LA County Fire Department, all the other fire departments within the state, as well as all the other fire departments and police force and everybody else who helped us with the recent La Tuna fire.
Yeah, that was a big fire.
Did you see it? I mean,
yeah, you can see some of it from my house.
Yeah, we were watching on the deck.
I had ashes all over my truck, every day.
You got smoke in Palmdale.
Yeah.
You did?
All the way up there, yeah.
Wow.
They said that the station fire, which was up in the Crest, the people in Malibu had ash from that one. That was 8 years ago.
Wow.
But thank you to the fire department. Those guys do a great job, and also our little community here. That's why I love La Crescenta. They have a local Facebook page, the official La Crescenta Facebook page. Emmanuel's on there. He spell checks everybody. They rallied. They said, hey, the fire department guys are down at CV Park, again, where we hold the event. They can use some water, maybe some Gatorade. By the time we got over there, which was pretty quick, because Linda wanted to do something and so did I, it took us some time to just get our arms around it. We went and bought some stuff and dropped it off. And there must have been enough water for the whole state of California lined up. And somebody mentioned they wanted beef jerky, and there was more friggin' beef jerky. So they really rallied.
Well, that's good.
By the time they were done, they were giving them washcloths. There's Tim Iskey. Hi, Iskey.
Tim. What's up, Tim?
So thanks for the community for all they did, and the fire department for that as well. And then it just keeps happening, hurricanes, and we had some relatives down in Florida that just dealt with the Hurricane Irma, whatever the hell her name was, right?
Yeah, Irma.
And then Irma. Houston was the week before that. All our mini bike fans out there. I mean, it was just so. So all those guys, our little mini bike clan, who's down in Houston or here in the state, maybe locally, as well as all the folks down in Florida. Congrats on getting through that. We wish you the best. And when you dry out, maybe you'll have enough time to get out to Joe's Minibike Reunion October the 14th. presented by Pioneer. I'd like to thank all the sponsors for the event. I'd also like to take a moment. It's happening, Ed, as we get older. Every day someone that we know chips away. Before you used to,
I know.
you used to go to Facebook to see something good, or maybe somebody got a job. Now it's like, you're 7 a.m., you wake up, scratch your ass, reach over, get that phone. And, you see the Yankees won. It's like, oh, that's good. Scroll up. It's like, I'm sad to report Joe Blow died today. It's like, and it's all that. So every day there's something like that going on. I lost a good friend who I knew way back in the day when I was in Daytona, Herbert Garner. He's from Stone Mountain, Georgia, an older guy, and he was a really cool guy. He was a part of a group that used to come down to visit Daytona Beach from Georgia on an annual basis, and I worked there as a hotel, and I was young and dumb, and those guys treated me like a son, and I appreciate that, and I want to offer our condolences to Herbert and his family. I think his wife's name is Gloria. Good-looking old gal, or good-looking young gal. We're both, right? We're young and old at some point. So I hope you're doing well, and I want to wish you the best and say thank you to Jeff Ramsey, and also say hi to all the Ramseys for making me aware of that, and we wish Herbert the best. So this one's for you, Herbert, and I think it was Garner Supply in Stone Mountain, Georgia. So if you live there and you're still building stuff, continue to shop there. And Herbert, we'll see you hopefully not too soon. But we'll see you sometime up there. All right, enough of that stuff. I want to thank our sponsors, Pioneer. They present all this CRC, small engine cams. We just got a text from Tim. We'll be giving away a camshaft. If you guys would like to ask either Jake Moe, world-renowned fabricator, bike builder, same for Evil Ed, Icon. If you have a question about mini bikes, we don't want to go too deep. Like, we don't want to talk about valve train assembly right now. But if you got something that's, a good question, you can either direct message me on Joe's Minibike Reunion Facebook, or if you want, go ahead and send something on the Facebook Live comments, and we'll read those at the break. And then if we get a couple good questions, we'll figure out who's going to win. We'll give away a small engine cam, compliments of Tim over at Small Engine Cams. Tim, if you could let me know, one of the questions that we had to do with how the name Black Mamba came to your line of mini bike street cams, and it's not named after Charles Mosley, or is it? Charles, how you doing out there, brother? Also want to give a nice shout out to our other sponsors. We mentioned Small Engine Cams, Go-Kart USA, GoPowersports.com. They were in Dallas. Hopefully you guys have dried out. They're continuing to have fun every day. If you go to that GoPowersports.com Facebook page, they've got some crazy build-up with a go-kart or a mini bike. They've got that Coleman hop-up kit. And I keep seeing those Colemans out there. And we keep joking about it because the guy on Facebook sells them for $35,000 so he could be at the top.
They're on eBay for like $4,500.
Yeah, just so they could get top billing.
What?
And then they're $300 in the box. But
Yeah.
but anyways,
When I saw that, I'm like, what?
so they're going to be at SEMA. Coleman, in fact, shout out to Peter and Mikey, all our guys. In fact, we'll be at the SEMA show in like 2 or 3 months. Halloween.
It's that time.
SEMA.
again?
Emmanuel,
Oh, yeah.
I think he just got his media credentials. We'll all be there. Jake, you got to come.
Yeah.
You got to come.
I just got my registration stuff,
Great.
an email, so.
And I know you had a badass truck last year.
Yep.
The problem with feature vehicles, Ed, is, now you imagine all these decals were feature vehicle spots at the SEMA show. Well, SEMA determines where they go. But if you're in the main hall and you'd like to have that spot, that specific designated spot, because they're all numbered, it's inventoried, you can buy that spot if it's available, and it's all based on seniority, the number of years your company has been exhibiting there, but you can buy that spot so that there's no wondering where you go. You can buy spot 22.
Right.
Now, it's a couple grand, but if you want that spot, because you've got let's say you have a 20-foot booth, you can only put one maybe vehicle in there. If you have another vehicle you want to show off, you want to place it somewhere. And then all the other spots they're random. So Jake had a really badass truck. That would have been one of the, it will be, as it probably is wherever you go, one of the nicest, well-received trucks out there.
Oh, yeah.
What is it? Tell those guys a little bit about.
It's a 58 Chevy. It's a full custom chassis.
All raw exterior.
Yeah, it's all raw metal right now. So we got a lot of custom sheet metal work on the, everything's custom. Like the only thing that's stock is the outer fenders, the cab, just pretty much the outer skin. Everything else has been cut out, reshaped, bead rolled. Like every piece of it is pretty much custom. So
if you saw it, you would know he had a hand at it. It's just got that look. And
About a ton of time into that thing.
so Peter, I say, hey, Peter, I jump on that same train. You know, poor Peter from SEMA around this time of the year, all the requests and favors and, you know, everybody's trying to cash in.
Hook us up.
Yeah, and, you know, there's only so much to go around, but
Yeah.
he made room for us without any specific spot for this truck because I want to get Jake's truck there. The problem you always have is you feel like you're going to let somebody down.
Right.
Because you know it's a nice truck, but at some point, it's like we're trying to get into a show that's been around for 50 years and just drop in somewhere. You're probably not going to land in that spot. You're probably going to land out here, and no one really sees that. So,
Right.
so I say when it gets to be a situation where it could get awkward, I always tap out, just like I did. It's like, Jake, do me a favor, make something up, pretend something happened, because it's too.
It gets hectic.
And the likelihood and the potential could have been that we could have got there, but you never would have known. So by the time everybody comes out there and gets a room and takes off work and doesn't get in a great spot. But anyways, got off a little bit target there. But the SEMA show's coming up. We'll be at the Roadkill Zip Tie Drags this weekend, which is going to be cool. I'll see Justin Wilcox, who was there with our guy Kalman Carisi, the Minibike guys. They were at the Zip Tie Drags, the last two. So hopefully we'll see him there and maybe a couple other Minibike guys. If there's any Roadkill Minibike fans that can make it out to Gateway International Park, which is in Madison, Illinois. You fly to St. Louis and then you drive to... It's one of those things. We'll be there. It's the 15th and the 16th. Come and check it out.
You going?
Current issue of Roadkill out there.
Rotson.
You'll be in there at some point, Jake Moe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'll be there. So our other sponsors... F&B, they've got that new intake that's just coming out.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
Tunnel port thing.
Yeah, so we'll have, he's going to bring a couple. We'll give one away on the podcast, and we'll have some to give away at the show.
Cool.
And then I want to give a special shout out to Sean. We talked about Sean from Hotspot Motorsports, or the Hotspot, however you like to call it.
Sean. Papa Smurf.
Papa Smurf. We'll be talking to him and seeing him soon. It's Joe's Minibike Reunion. Again, it's $20 to register. We'll be giving away that custom American Flyer 215 kit from Go-Kart USA. It's a roller. We are also, I just spoke to the family man, Emron, up at Go-Kart USA last week, and it was actually pretty cool. Not only is he sending us an engine, I think they carry a lot of Titans. Titan's the one with that electric start. It's kind of their takeoff of the...
Yeah, I've seen it on their website, yeah.
We'll give that a try. They're going to send us one with some hop-up parts. Maybe we'll put the parts on during one of the next podcasts, and we'll give that away as well. And maybe I need your help. Maybe you guys can tell us what to do. Should we just give it to the guy who wins the roller? Or should we maybe give it away as a second prize? You know, do we give the intake away as a separate prize, the carb away? Or do we, you know, so we'll think about that. We'll have some fun doing that. But we got a ton of stuff to give away, including a $500 gift certificate from Pioneer. All the knocker loose.
Knocker loose.
Knocker loose.
I love that.
Best name.
We were talking about that, you know.
Knocker loose.
And CRC is a very long-standing, traditional. You see their.
If you can't get the lid off, try some knocker loose.
You'll get it off. You know, and everything it's almost like Clinique. You know, it's very sterile and very clean, and all these names: the cleaner carb, the Stayplex, the brake clean, the electronic cleaners. They're all nice names, and then we got this guy.
Knocker loose.
We got this guy. We were talking about how that name came up during the marketing meeting. You know, it's like, I've got this new product here. You know, in the spirit of all of our brands, the brake clean. It's like, what do you think we should name this stuff? And there's that one little guy, the little Italian guy in the back.
Italian guy.
Knocker loose, man. Right? That's what it does. It knocks the shit off, right? But knocker loose. We're gonna have all this stuff to give away. Joe's Minibike Reunion, October the 14th. It's free. We said that before. Go to our website. We said that before. And one last thing, if you want to have people ask about having a booth there, not bringing in their bike, but having a booth. Well, once Mac has his spot in the corner and takes whatever other space he wants, then we line you up. It's like $35 for a 10x10. You can go online, and if you have any other questions about that, I don't know what the hell to tell you. Ed, you had made some progress with the Bonanza. We're gonna roll it up here, the second part of the show, but for those who hadn't had the chance to listen in during last time's podcast, or our last podcast, tell us a little bit about the bike and what you've done to it over these last couple weeks? 'Cause I know you've been hard to get a hold of. You've been busy.
Oh yeah, it's like one of the first 50 Bonanzas built.
Do you know which one it is?
I don't know which one it is because it didn't come with a badge.
But you know how there's that Bonanza guy where he can identify 1 through 20, but maybe 12 through.
Yeah, it has
14's missing.
the 1 through 50 seat riser on the top frame rails.
Saw that earlier. You can point that out later.
It had the raised motor plate in it, but someone had cut the sides off and laid the motor plate in flat.
And that's where you got the specs and made one, didn't you?
Well, my friend Jerry, who has the very first Bonanza,
What's Jerry's last name?
Jerry Christensen,
Okay.
he, me and him kept going back and forth with pictures, and I was asking him questions, and he's giving me dimensions, and
It's great.
oh man! Anyway, we got the motor plate made from Scott Kirksey. He made me the motor plate, and
So that is that similar. Is it like that 5-degree pitch?
I don't even know what pitch
It looks
is.
like
I
you
was
see
so
the pitch?
I was so jazzed to get the motor plate.
It looks like it's got a pitch on it, and it's got.
It's raised in the back. The jack shaft goes underneath the motor plate.
I saw that was clean.
Yeah.
I see you just have to do a little trimming on your shaft.
Yeah, but I don't know where the
Watch
engine's
that.
gonna sit.
Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, knocker loose.
Knocker. Yeah, got it. So once you determine where the engine sits, that's going to determine how
Right.
much you cut off.
Right.
Yeah. See, an idiot like me would immediately start cutting that thing.
And the brake stay arm was, and the bolt that holds it on the frame was missing, so I made a brake stay and put the bolt back on, put the reinforcement plates on it.
Now I see you have what.
Basically, I'm going to leave it like that because on the back of the seat riser, it's got the Bonanza custom cart sticker on the back.
I saw that too.
Yeah, so that's
Great. He's
like
getting a little capture of that thing. See, now that appears to be pretty close to the original paint. If not, maybe a little.
No, it's been repainted.
A time or two, because I don't know if that blue's fit. Yeah. So what do you
Still
got?
got that original.
Yeah.
It's
black,
doesn't
though.
it?
Yeah,
It's
that's
got
good.
that patina look to it, so that works. What will you do with the seat, Ed?
My friend Jerry, who actually is friends with Mike Ferrand and Dan Ferrand. Mike was the owner of Bonanza Minibikes.
Right. We
And
talked about
Dan
him.
is his brother. Well, Jerry had bought the bike number 1 off Dan, and he got to talking, and they introduced him to Mike, the owner of Bonanza. So he's going to hit Mike up to see what kind of seat is supposed to go on there, because the bike that he bought was a special seat that no one ever bought. The very first one was like a racing seat, double stitch Naugahyde or whatever, and they were $5 extra for that seat, but no one bought one.
Yeah.
So now
That was back when the bike was $100. You know, no one would spend the extra fin for the seat.
What do the first 50 seats look like.
What about our guy Tom Drizowicki?
No, I don't know. No, there's no pictures of these early Bonanzas is the problem.
I bet there is. So if there's anybody that's listening that may know of somebody, or if you know a guy,
There's an article on OMB with Jerry's Bonanza on there, number 1. But all you can go by is pictures.
well, we'll figure that out. And then, just like people, I just saw the Vegas Rat Rod show, and they airbrushed the patina on the exterior of a lot of these vehicles. I think there's also a company that's specializing in upholstery, like interior, where it's new rat rod. So that would be kind of cool if you had as long as it was that same look.
Yeah, it's not going to be like a Survivor because I've already fixed the motor plate and stuff. But it's still going to be an early Bonanza.
It's going to be an Evil Ed bike. That's all that matters.
Early Bonanza.
So what are you going to do now? So you're searching for the motor, right? And there's a specific one that did you find it?
Power Products AH58.
You put a little shout out.
Yeah.
Did you get any nibbles?
No.
You got balls? What?
Bleeding.
Really? Well, you know what it was? Probably when we took the photo shoot and you were leaning up against the... plus you're 105, your skin's thin now.
What the hell? Anyway.
Give me some brake clean. Here, get that
Knock
car...
her loose.
Knock her loose, Eddie. There you go.
So it's going to have like a newer seat. What I find out what the seat's supposed to look like is going to have new upholstery.
Yeah, the
But
engine,
it's still
though.
going to be one of the first 50.
Yes, it's just so cool looking. So we're still looking for the motor, right?
Yeah.
Didn't someone have a line on it? What exactly is it a 3-horse or
give me one redone.
3.5 or 3-horse?
No, I think they're like 5 horses.
Oh yeah, because that would be the way to go.
They're like
5-horse
5
Tecumseh or
horses.
something.
No, they're power
Two-stroke.
products.
Oh, the
Two-stroke.
power, yeah, power
Two-stroke,
products. Yeah.
Go-kart or chainsaw motor.
Well, maybe if there's anybody out there that's got a line on one, or some of our friends here in California or anywhere in the U.S., let us know. It's for Evil
The
Ed.
guy that builds them and supposedly has a bunch of them. His name is Bob Muha, or he's about 70 years old go-kart guy.
California guy?
This-
Or?
No, he's back east.
Is
He's
it-
supposed to have everything power products because he collected over the years.
Well, maybe we can see if he can let something loose.
He
You're-
built a few for some guys on OMB.
The guys who have, the guys who hoard up all the good stuff, they're not getting rid of it for a while.
Yeah.
You know, like you're not going to
Hang
get
on
that
to
from that guy when he's in his 40s or 50s or 60s. I think when you start to get to that point, like in your 70s, where you're really wondering how often you're going to dick around with these motors again, you start to break loose. At least as I get closer to that age, I kind of see myself that, you just want it to go somewhere instead of just sitting there forever as I look around. So I had Emron, the family man. It was a good time on the phone. He helped out because he's going to send that engine, and we'll figure out how we're going to give that away. But he also, here, Ed,
There you go.
there's the one piece.
Is this mine?
It is.
All right.
And this is the fork.
All right.
This is the fork. Jake put that over there. And how nice. This is this American Flyer, and it's black. It's the 2-piece,
All right.
and it is that, Eddie.
It's nice.
Yeah, here, Jake. I'll put this on that side too.
Cool.
It's that. It's ready to go. And here's the deal. This is just a small way of saying thanks for all you do, Ed.
Oh, thank you, sir.
You got it, babe. And
I have just the motor for it and wheels and everything.
yeah, it's another reason, another thing for you to do from keeping you from completing a bike for the mini bike show. It's just another thing to add to your pile of things to do.
I did get cut on my hours at work, so I might get something done.
Well, that happens. You know.
Yeah, they're pretty slow, so.
So you work 4 hours and you play for 4 extra hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are you working? 12 hours a day now? 10 hours a day? How long?
Just 8s.
Good.
Yeah.
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 Well, otherwise it's too much.
Yeah.
I'm almost at a point now where I'm looking for stuff to do because I have gaps in between my gigs, and then it's like, oh fuck, I gotta do something. So
But I get home and then I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do now? I start looking at all the bikes and every car parts and things, and
you know what I did over
I'm
the
always
summer?
trying to stay busy with something.
I just stalled everything. We were jamming on that bike and jamming on that bike and jamming on this bike and jamming on that bike, and then it got to be like 98 degrees,
You have to sometimes.
and I
So
stayed in
hot
the house.
Those past 2 weeks I was working on that Bonanza. Oh, God.
Yeah. Well, it's tough for us to be bitching when you have folks who have to deal with the opposite,
Yeah.
the cold. And they got the propane heater set up in the garage. In fact, I think we're going to have Myron on in a little while. All those guys will be in their garage with those portable propane heaters,
Jackets on.
trying to adjust the fucking chain. Their fingers are, could you imagine?
I know what they're talking about.
Well, yeah. Well, my first mini bike was in upstate when we were kids, but they went somewhere for 6 months. We didn't have a garage. They either stayed in your living room during the summer months, and then when it got winter, it went underneath my my Aunt Antoinette's basement. And you put it down there, and it lived down there with a blanket covered up for 8 months. And then when the spring came, you took it out, but there was no working on it. Out here, like this weather, man, if we could sign up for this all the time,
Oh yeah.
I'd have a shop that just worked at night.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It would be great, set it up with lights. Well, Ed, the Bonanza's coming along. We hope you find that Power Products motor.
I'll find one.
Yeah. Help Ed out if you
I'll
can.
find one.
There's a free T-shirt in it
I've
for you
had
if you can hook it up
two
with
offers, but one I didn't like the crankshaft end on it.
it. We're going to go through it anyways, aren't you?
Yeah, but I don't want to replace no crank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
The crank was really long. It didn't have a keyway in it,
Yeah.
and it just had a little C cut for a crescent key.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Oh.
So I didn't want to deal with it.
What about James?
No, I don't want to deal with that either.
Yep. You were just talking about that, I guess. Not so much him, but he's got a.
I can
He's
get a
always
real
looking.
nice one for like $650.
Well, what are you looking to pay for one of
But-
those things?
I don't want to pay $650. I want basically a patinaed running one.
Okay. So if anybody's got one,
400 or whatever.
ask our man Ian.
250,
Ian's always out there sniffing around, right?
Yeah.
Every damn.
Because the bike is.
He has all
you
kinds of
I
junk.
don't- I don't want to put a nice engine in there and then have the rest of it.
Is it the same motor as a chainsaw?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But they made them for go-karts.
So they changed a few things.
They made the go-kart one a right and a left. One is a counterclockwise.
Yeah, that's
one
why
is clockwise.
the guy was asking you the rotation. I was
Yeah.
wondering about that.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a Clinton website. In addition to all the mini bike websites, there's just a specific Clinton engine site and Facebook page. You should fish for some of those too, if you haven't already do that. Yeah, you look good in that black shirt, Ed.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like that shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
yeah. Ed was.
You got some new ones for the show or what? New designs?
We got a lot of stuff coming up, and I went back to black.
Yeah.
I went back to black, and it's a variation of that shirt. And the back will have a little bit more information on it. I think you're going to like the new design.
Cool.
2014.
Yeah. I always like using that gold star when I can. Usually costs a lot more money to add one stupid little
One
extra
color.
right? But you do it anyways because I had the red for taco at the time. But
You got to get one with Ed on his Bonanza.
it's funny you mentioned that. We just that's the reason why he has that outfit on. Is
Or one
because-
for each guy of the podcast.
That would be cool. We had a photo shoot earlier for Ed because Ed will have his own. There'll be the event shirt, and then there'll be the Evil Ed event shirt, and then there'll be a hat. So we took some photos. And I think the William.
Yeah.
So they got to approve it before anything goes out and sign the royalty documents. And then we got to try to fight and dig and claw to try to sell 12 of those fucking things.
I hope so. At least 12.
I'll buy them.
You know? Yeah. And we got the extra large because we know all the large guys just dig Evil Ed. So I'm going to have them for everybody. We'll have the hats.
Kids
I'm getting
ones?
beanies
Kid
too.
sizes?
Well, you know, I don't know if I did a kid shirt, but I didn't do a kid Evil Ed. So maybe next year. Maybe next year. Look at that.
Next year, Logan.
Yeah. Well, we got something for you, Logan, always. Hey, it's around that time. You know, the folks from Stutz Hardware and Performance are your go-to
guy.
stop. Look at that. Look at that handsome bastard.
Look at that. Look at the head on
They're your go-to stop for mini bike performance parts. Hell, mini bikes, new mini bikes, used mini bikes. What's happening, my brother?
Chia.
What's going on?
Well, everyone,
Can everybody else hear me?
we can. It's that fun part of our Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast segment. It's the Motor City Minute, hosted by our main man Myron Bailey. Myron, how you been, brother? I haven't talked to you in a while. Looking good.
I miss y'all. I love y'all.
Love you too,
love to
Myron.
my people. Wait, get in the goddamn video. I can't see you.
Oh, let me see if I can scoot over a little bit more. Turn that. Hey, Jake Moe's with us. Jake, would you turn that a little bit? This way or that way? There you go.
Jesus.
What's up?
Everybody's here. We've got Jake Moe. We've got Evil Ed. What have you been up to, Myron? What's been happening in the Motor City?
Oh, man, it's been a whole lot happening, man. You know, the weather up here is starting to change, and there's a lot of things that's changing with that. First of all, I would like to say, stop the stealing at Stud Motorsports. Stop it. Stop stealing over there.
Yeah,
You don't think the camera's going to get you?
Yeah, the guys have been, you know, Eric's a nice guy. I bet if you walked up to Eric and said, look, man, I want to ride. I got everything but my pipe. Dude, spot me that pipe. I'll give you your $35 next week. Eric would be the first one to give him the pipe. He'd probably help him put the thing on because he wants him to go out. But recently those guys been just going in there robbing him. And then it kind of, I don't know if it's foolishness or just young, but they talk about it on Facebook and kind of brag about it.
Yeah,
and at some point,
right.
you get pissed off. And Eric had it, huh, Myron? And he called the guys out. And I was kind of having a little fun with it. But I mean, it's like, don't be a douchebag and rob from the guy who's going to have to be there when you need parts, man.
Right, you're grown. If you owe, pay. I don't care if it's $10 a payment. Pay your bill off. You know, you can do it. I mean, if it's a little small payment, $10, $20 a week or whatever you get paid, pay the bill off. Don't make yourself look bad. The man, you know, is not a bad guy. I love his store.
Me too.
He has great products. He's always friendly to everybody.
He's got good guys there too, doesn't he, Myron? The guys that work there and the gals that work there, it's like a family.
Yeah, totally right. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what it's all about. The mini bike family.
I watched what happened when you walked in there. They all love their Myron Bailey when you go strolling up there to Studs.
They look at this big ass head I got. It's like, it don't even fill in the water side.
No, they love you just like we all do. So you been riding?
Yes, I have. I did the 100-mile ride with Jeff, Lucifer, and mind you, I got down and my pipe broke off, so I had to ride the trailer of shame. For 50 miles.
That's all right though.
But when I got to Billy Powell's house, Billy Powell had me totally tightened up, and I did the 50 miles back, and I bust a whole lot of ass.
Well, you know, when you brake and then you're lucky enough to get back going, it's sweet.
Yeah, I feel you on that one.
Yeah.
Yep, I totally feel you on that one.
Was our man Calvin out there? Calvin Carisi, was he out there?
That's who I was riding with on the trailer of shame.
Hey, you got to get a helmet on him.
We had the pre-rolls, chilling, talking, watching the bikes roll down. And when we got down, and I had to, get down on my bike on the way back, I was so glad about the love. I rode with Scott Stebbins, Jeff.
Crispy Minis.
Minis.
Yep.
He broke his collarbone. He's riding already?
Yep. You don't be playing.
I'd still be laying down.
And I wouldn't even take phone calls. Oh.
I'd be riding one hand.
He probably would. Yeah, that's what happens when you get old. Crazy Jake, he's too young. He'll still be riding. Yeah.
That's how the mini bicycle family do out here in the D.
Hey, how's Big Son doing?
Big Son is doing fine. Can't complain.
All right.
But I want to continue my menu. I want to always constantly say to any and all the people, whether it be in California or where else, wear your gear no matter what. Wear your gear.
Yes.
And here in the D, the winter's about to start, so that everybody's going to start new builds and everything, selling stuff, doing new stuff. And I also want to say, for a shout out to some of the people here, Shane Fuller, happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Shane.
Shouts out to Emmett, Outlaws, Eric D. Things, if I'm pronouncing that right. He sent me some love. And I'm trying to do a new build myself for the next summer. And maybe something over the winter, because I would like a little Predator snowmobile.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun for the winter. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yep.
What do you think you will build for a new bike? Will you rebuild your Rutman, or will you have a second bike, Myron?
I would really like something like, as Scott Stebbins says, a Jelly Belly or something like that, because I like that
big
all
bike.
Around. Well, it's not so much as big, but it's just the suspension. I like that all-around suspension because, like a big bike, you can do that on a mini bike, just bounce some bumps and look at the flick of the wrist.
That was the bike that he's referring to is the bike that I rode around that velodrome.
Yep. The Baja.
Yeah, it's a version of the Baja, that big fat tire bike, or the Big Dog or Bad Dog, whatever you want to call them. I can't tell you this.
Yeah.
I think there's a new brake upgrade kit for that he just introduced. At Stutz.
Okay.
Yeah. Because, it needs a little bit, but it's there.
Right.
We chewed the tread off that tire after about 30 laps on that velodrome. I would hate to change the tires on that thing, Myron. You have to get pretty good at that if you're going to ride that velodrome.
Hey, man, I like the long ride.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do for you, and you can plan on this. We're going to have on Frank and Brian, or Frank and Solo, as he's more affectionately known, from
F&B.
F&B. They'll be in the house, I think the end of October, the end of September, right before the podcast, and they're going to be introducing their new intake, and they've got, I saw they just sent out a really clean rolling frame.
Yeah.
That was nice, but they've got some pipes and stuff, so we'll hook you up with a nice F&B pipe, and I'm sure that, yep, and we'll have Tim put together a nice little cam profile for you and hook you up. You know, we'll just tell them that you're with Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast.
I want a Evil Ed shirt. I want an Evil Ed shirt. I want an Evil Ed shirt.
Sold.
I want an Evil Ed shirt.
You got one. You got one.
What size are you? Are you X?
You got
X,
one.
L, or X?
2X.
2XL.
2X.
All right. And what about Son? What about Big Son?
Yes, he's like a 3.5, 4X.
All right.
He's my bodyguard.
Yeah. All right. Here's the thing, too. It's funny you mentioned that. We renewed. We have 2 real bodyguards that work as our security.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Black.
Ooh.
Yeah. You're right.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. There you go. And they're renewing. He called me back the other day. Said, thank you, because I'm more polite to him than he is to me. He's just like, he's a big guy. Yes, Mr. Black. No, Mr. Black. Yes, Mr. Black. Yes, Mr. Black. So he called back to say he was available. And I asked him, so have you been busy? He goes, yeah, I'm ushering around some prints from, I don't know if he was from Dubai or somewhere. So he was ushering around, guarding some prints on his slow day. But he'll be working the Minibike Reunion. And he always wants a shirt. And he's a 4 or 5XL. So now I got it. So I have to get a couple of them if I could take care of Big Son. Hey, we've got the Candyman. Oh, check this out. The Candyman Extravaganza.
All right.
I think Tom, our mini bike buddy from the Facebook page, he did the art. But there's another event.
On OMB.
There's another event coming up. The Candyman Extravaganza that Eric's got going on. When's that coming up, Myron? Are you aware of the dates for that?
No, I'm not aware of it per se because I've been at work all day. You know, when we talk, I've been at work doing like these 14 hours dealing with sick people. You know, I do dialysis for a living, so I got to go to work and save lives all day.
Well, that's where it really counts.
Yeah.
Well, if you could, I know you're active with your social media posts. Let's get some information on the Candyman Extravaganza, their next event when it's coming up. You can go to the Stutz Facebook page or their website for more details. But they had a nice turnout. There's some racing going on. There was a show. They were giving away some product. It's the Candyman Extravaganza 2. Myron, what do you? I'm going to be heading out somewhere close to you. I'll be in St. Louis and then venturing over to Madison, Illinois for the final Roadkill event. What do you got going on this next coming month? Any chance we'll see you out here at the big mini bike show on the 14th?
I got to do something with the family, man, because my mom's up in age. She's like 90 years old, so I got to go to the Halloween thing and, you know, do the church thing. And I ain't mad about it. You know, my mom's is my birth canal that I came through to this world, so I got to show respect for that. And, but
you say she's 90?
I would like to. Yeah, she'll be close to 90. Yeah.
I guess one of those Joe's Minibike Reunion halter tops wouldn't.
Uh-oh.
It's Michael Mann's son. Michael Mann, known from Miami Vice fame. His son Horace.
As long as we still sing. Hey, look.
There you go. What do you got on there? Let's see the T-shirt.
That's that Studs Love.
Oh yeah. Well, hey Jake Moe, reach into your box, Jake.
Oh, it's over here.
Oh yeah, Jake Moe's got the love too.
Look at my background podcast.
Look at that.
You look like the Symbionese Liberation Army.
Yeah.
How about that? Jake Moe's got a little love over here too. Check this out, Myron. Oh, you got the poster up there. See?
What?
Yeah. We got a little love.
And one time it's love.
Hey, before we let you go, this segment, again, brought to you by Stutz Power Sports and Hardware. I think it's hardware and performance. They dropped off a nice little care package of product that's on the Pioneer promotion table.
Grab it.
Yeah, it's nice little box of goodies that Eric sent.
Nice billet intake.
What do we got there, Jake?
Slide carb.
A little slide carb. A little billet. Look at that thing.
Hardware kit, gaskets, bolts.
All right, so everything you need to get your bike from phase one. We got the cable with the fitted end.
Filter.
Got a little air filter. So all this comes compliments of Stutz. We got the little decal action. Thank you.
Oh, look at that.
We'll add this to the giveaways for these future podcasts that we've got coming up, as well as whatever's left over. We'll bring the Joe's Minibike Reunion on October the 14th. Hey, Myron, we're going to take a break as we finish up the first half of the podcast. If you'd like to give any further shout-outs or give folks an idea of what you're going to be up to or how they can stay in touch with you, go ahead and do that.
Cooney.
Okay, sir. I would like to first say that I would like the podcast giveaways from the people who we are representing to make it big as bikes and tires and seats and all of those things that
I agree.
any bicycle need.
Yes, I agree. So let's, and this is a good example, wouldn't you say? Here we've got a carburetor, we've got an intake, we've got cables. Look, we've got mini bike frames. So
And I want people to call in. Call in.
well, we've got some folks.
Give it away now.
Yep, we've got a bunch of folks that have sent in questions. We're going to read them at the break, and during the second half of the podcast, we'll review the questions. We're going to be taking a look at Jake Moe's brand new drag bike, custom drag bike that he built. We'll take a quick peek at Frankenstein, which he hopped up. Boy, I'd like to see you on that Frankenstein, Myron. That bike would just fit you to a T.
Ooh.
So thanks
bro.
thanks for all you do. If you're in Detroit, do whatever you can to get your mini bikes going so you can enjoy the last month or two before it gets cold. And if you're out there on the streets, make sure that you say hi to my man Myron Bailey. He's the king of the mini bikes out there. Say hi to all of our friends out there, and I look forward to seeing you guys. You know I'm going to come back there every year to ride that velodrome. Maybe I'll bring Evil Ed and Jake with me next time.
One time in the deed and bring that gentleman next to you on the left.
You know, Southwest has got those $59 flights. We'll have to check them out.
I gotta flick the
Hey,
wrist. Flick
Myron
the wrist
Bailey.
in Detroit.
The Detroit
wrist in
motor,
Detroit.
just like that, the flick of the wrist, he's
Flick
out
of
of
the
here.
wrist in Detroit.
Thank you, Myron. All right.
See you,
One
Myron.
time in the
Hey.
time to everybody.
All right.
So with that, we're
Myron.
going to close up the first half of Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast. Go catch yourself a little break, catch yourself a little buzz. We'll be back in a few. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast. We're talking about the big Minibike Reunion on October the 14th here at beautiful La Crescenta. We really weren't talking about it. I just thought we'd bring that up. Back with Evil Ed. That was cool. I like having Myron in.
Yeah. He's a funny guy.
It's a trip.
He's
Funny guy.
His son's pretty cool, too. We'll see more from those guys. I always ask him, you know, it's kind of an open-ended question when you ask those poor guys from Detroit to come out. Because it's not like they can, it's a pain in the ass to roll out from San Fernando or Palmdale, Lancaster, let alone Detroit, right?
Oh,
But I just want them to know that they're welcome. And for anybody else who's listening, again, we talked about all our friends in Houston and Miami and Pennsylvania.
Canada.
Hey, I talked to Drew.
Drew.
Yeah. from OMB.
Really?
Get down with OMB.
Ooh, did you knock him loose?
Knock her loose by
Knock her
CRC. I said, hey, we're going to do this call-in deal.
True.
And if you'd like, call in.
Did he call in?
Yeah, I think this is on. Can we turn it off and then we'll go. And then we'll turn it on. We're going to take, we've got about maybe a dozen questions. Some of them are comments. Others are a little bit more than we care to get into right now on detuning a D-stroke single cam modified valve cutaway. It's like we're not going to get into that shit. So
How much lift should I have?
yeah, we do appreciate the effort you took in comprising the emails, though. We're not big spellers, I noticed, either. This is kind of a cold reality when you see all this stuff on the screen. Is it mini bike 2 words, or when you describe it, do you describe
I
mini
describe
bike
it as
one
one
word?
word.
And how about you, Jake?
One word, yeah.
I'm one word.
Mini
Notice-
bikes.
I've seen it 2 words. See the mini bike up there with the Go Power Sports? They're 2. Funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
So then it just gives us another fucking thing to do on Craigslist where we've got to search mini
Punch in 2 names, mini bike and mini space bike.
I search them all, no matter what. Every variation.
So I see you have a really good bike on Craigslist LA for 500, 600. What is it? Is it a roller? Does it got an engine in it? No, there's a new
Which
drag
one is
bike.
it?
I think you've got don't you have a drag bike on there now?
I don't think so.
Well, there's some fake Jake Moe lookalike shot.
Unless it's something on there from a long time ago.
Maybe
I
okay.
think that's the guy selling like a Temecula Bob frame, but
It looked nice, and I just the photo wasn't the
think
greatest, and I
there's
just
one on
it's like because I bought the roper, right?
Kinda.
the rope is not on there no more.
Is this what we were talking about later? Well, I thought I bought the roper. Well, he's had that roper with a little. Is that a little GX motor in there?
Yeah, GX200.
Yeah, and it's it probably needs a little bit of this or that, but it's there, and it's. I don't like blue. I don't like that blue, but I know that bike. If he had his hand in it, I just love to have it. I'll buy whatever the hell he has if I've got a little extra cash. But that one I thought could just be cool because it would be dependable and you'd be able to ride, and you wouldn't roll up and find 20 others. There's something unique about those bikes, and I did not like the pricing. This is still on, I think.
Yeah. Here's something.
Wasted days.
So I saw it on Craigslist, and it was like, it's like this is my boy's bike. He's like, he's got more money into it than what he's. I know what he's got into that bike than what he's asking for it.
Yeah.
It's like, can I have it? Then it's like, well, I give it to E for his son. It's like I'm not giving my friends' sons mini bikes anymore. Because I got to that point where I didn't care, and now I do care because if something happens, I don't want anybody breaking my balls. Yeah. So he could just ride whatever shit I have. That's right. Aaron. Aaron, from the end of the podcast, Joe's mini bike.
Oh, yeah.
Joe. He had a lot to do with that.
It's a good touch, actually.
Yeah, it's very good. Congratulations, E, as well. E is moving on. He's leaving us, Ed.
Yeah, I know. That's what he told me on the break.
He's moving. He's moving.
He's moving. We're pretty far too.
Well, yeah, it's
a
game breaker. It's a game changer. He's but we wish him the best, and I can't be. What am I supposed to do? Get selfish and get like pissed off now that I've got to walk like another 25 feet?
E, where'd you go? Oh, there he is.
Literally down the block.
So, congrats, E, to you and your family. God bless you, and congratulations on that. That was something.
He's moving on.
E's such a good guy. I'm such a typical New Yorker. I say, hey, what's up with the place? I see him put a sign up there. He goes, we're close. We're praying. It's like, all right. I walk down my driveway. It's like, shit, I'd be praying. I'd be over there with a fucking check. I'd be over there trying to, like, glue dollar bills to the landlord, calling him over his girlfriend's house, blackmailing him. And I walk down, and it's like, well, I feel good about that. He's cool and calm and collected about it. So Linda and I went to the store, and we took the long way back, and we drove by the house because she was curious about it in hopes that he would get it. And I saw him shortly afterwards, and any movement on the house? Yeah, we got it. So it was great. It was as easy as that.
Done deal.
Yeah. So I prayed for $25 million this afternoon, and I'm like, asked to be here before the car picks me up at 6, and I'll call you guys if anything comes up. But congrats on that, E. We helped him move a little bit.
Go to roadkill.
We moved some stuff. You see a very, well presented, professional. Nothing like his garage. Garage looked like like a Radio Shack exploded in there. He probably single-handedly owns the most canopies in the history of canopy owners. But that's from all the stuff he does. That Scleroderma Foundation of Southern California that we proudly support. He's always active doing something on that. They're a big part of Joe's Minibike Reunion. They'll be on site. You can get a water there.
We got a baseball game coming up.
All right.
When's that?
We can play?
September 30th. No, Angels game.
Angels closing up on the wild card.
Yeah.
They're a couple games out for the wild card.
So I think it's the last game of the season.
See how they talk louder when they got earplugs in?
Yeah. I just know
Last game, they all count.
I believe so. It's,
Each of these games from now on, they all count if you're in contention. It's win or lose. So, folks, can they buy tickets?
Yes. Scleroderma.org/scleroangels.
Can you make it? Okay. Scleroderma.org/sclero
Angels.
angels. And send that to Joe Sebergandio. Try to figure all that shit out. Well, it's there. And for more information, you can always look us up on the Facebook page, and we can get a message to E. That would be a cool little deal. They'll be out at the reunion again on the 14th. They'll have water available to quench your thirst. We donated a little bit of money. There was a nice support. I think we matched it. So when push came to shove, everybody got a little bit of water, and Scleroderma took home a few very well-deserved hundreds of dollars, whatever it turned out to be. We're back at the podcast. We had a chance to talk a little bit about your Bonanza. Ed, if you do get lucky and maybe we find an engine and you get that thing in there, if not, just rolling up, that rolling chassis would be cool to see.
Think so?
Yeah.
I'll bring it either way.
And Emmanuel was able to capture some footage, which is good. And we got a little bit of a leash on the podcast. We don't usually run too long. We're going to run a little bit long tonight. And while I'm at it, Emmanuel is taking a look at and capturing a little video of Jake's new custom drag bike, which just looks fast. It looks fast
Just standing there.
Yeah. Jake, congrats on another great job. Did you name it?
I don't have a name for it yet.
Knocker loose.
Yeah, might have to be. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, it's got some. That name has some race
Knock her
connotation.
loose.
Yeah, it's like knock her loose, knock your component loose,
I want to
the
knock
engine-
my rod loose. And
Yeah. Well, do us all a favor and let's reward some of these folks who've stayed up with us like a bunch of nuts on this podcast. Let's make it worth their while. Tell them a little bit about what you did with that bike. How did you decide that you were going to build that bike? Was it something that you had planned, or something that just was it a quick idea? How did it come to fruition?
I built that bike because I do a lot of choppers and like different, like kind of one-off types of frames.
Like Frankenstein, if you can maybe grab a shot of that, E?
Exactly. So I don't do too many of like the standard mini bikes, which I pretty much started off with. So I had a ton of those to begin with.
And by standard, you're talking standard size,
Yeah, like a
height,
standard
frame
like
size.
square, like box style frame, like what that is. I mean, obviously it's stretched and a few different things on it, but yeah. So I just wanted to make something fast, something light. A lot of focus on that bike is the weight of it. So everything's made to save weight. I mean, in the fork trees, they're hollowed out. All the tubing that it's made with is all like a thin, lightweight tubing.
That welding is just typical Jake Moe welding.
I can't weld. What is this?
Thank you.
You do weld.
Yeah,
all
but
right.
it's got a Dustin Lee Blockzilla 2. It's 3-inch stroke, 194 over. It's got titanium valves, real big valves, beryllium seats.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Dustin Lee picked the cam. He builds like dragster engines and stuff, and
Nice.
he's real good at like cam choice and stuff like that. So.
Is that a custom carb, or is it a Tolson? It looks like the old Frankenstein style carb. What kind of carb's on that?
That's a Makuni 33 pumper.
Okay.
Yeah. Runs on alcohol. Ran it a little bit. We did a little testing with M5, and I want to hopefully test a little more with a little more nitro coming up soon. But I'm just trying to find a light rider to get on it to get its full potential.
Anybody in mind?
I was talking to E a little bit. I don't know. He might jump on it, but
Wow.
yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah, I met those two young brothers. Their name eludes me right now. I want to say Tim or Todd and his brother. Young, fearless, crazy white guys from Detroit that were riding those mini bikes as fast as you can imagine at night. There'll be somebody out there. Ian, huh? Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I see Ian once a year.
He's pretty light. I didn't realize he was so light. He's only like $130.
Yeah, see, I
like,
wouldn't have
it's
guessed that. I wouldn't have guessed that. And
Yeah.
then, like, Yeah, well, we'll see Ian at the MacFest.
Yeah,
Cool.
I mean, if you,
Yeah.
yeah, you should be there.
When's
You went
when's
there,
Mac's event? It's not.
September. He's going to have one in
September.
It's-
September.
yeah.
20,
Is it the 28th? It's a Saturday. It's the last Saturday, I think, of September.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Well,
Can't
so
wait.
the MacFest, we'll see Ian down there.
Yep.
So you'll try to find a light jockey with big balls that can.
28th, I think.
28th, I think, too, yeah. The
Yeah.
MacFest, it's in Norwalk, and there's an ad in Craigslist, Los Angeles, with details. Just Google MacFest.
I think he posted something on Facebook, too.
Yeah, well, it's anywhere. Minibikes.com. It's got to be out there. So Dustin pretty much took over all the Go Fast engine design, carburetor, engine. What do we do with wheels and tires on that?
The front's got an 8-inch. Actually picked up the wheels, the catch can, the pipe. I went up to Frank's house one day from F&B, and he hooked me up
nice.
with a bunch of stuff.
Upland?
Yeah, so yeah, way out there in what is it, Hesperia or whatever.
oh, yeah.
Wherever, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still driving back from there.
But that was a cool visit. I talked to him for a while and picked
He
up
really
a bunch
likes
of
you,
stuff.
too. I
Yeah,
can tell.
yeah, I like that guy.
Yes. Did you guys spend any time talking about the Pioneer bike?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'm actually in the works of talking with him right now on doing some like the side saddle
Yeah.
deals. We're gonna do them out of sheet metal and stuff. So
Yeah, that is.
I got to connect with him. Actually, we've been back and forth. But
Yeah, that's one of those things where I can't wait. There's a at this point, and it's fortunate because we have such great customers and clients. This is no fake reality TV show shit where we've got this deadline, and I've actually paused it again because I know that what we're doing there is pretty unique and one-off. Not to mention the fact that all you guys have pretty much full-time jobs and gigs. You look at some of Frank's posts in between the mini bikes alone, not to mention the cars, and he travels. Like he goes to every damn car show, it seems like, hustling and buying and
yeah,
selling
that
cars.
guy's my idol, man. That guy stays busy.
He really is.
He's all over the place.
Well, he'd be on
Yeah.
the podcast again if we're talking about Brian and Frank.
Yeah.
Frankez from F&B.
Yeah, Brian too. Those
yeah.
guys always support me in everything that I do, so I appreciate everything that they do.
I do too, and I really feel bad for Brian for all those times that Ed beat him too. You know, it was a constant
Poor
pummeling.
Solo.
You know, it was you were unyielding, Ed, and it was just. But anyways, Brian took it in stride, and he claims he beat you a couple times.
Nah.
All right. So
I seen your comment. You want to race Solo?
again, everybody.
Posted that with me.
Yeah.
You want to race?
So what else? Where do you think we'll go with that bike? Like how fast that bike's gonna end up when we get the right rider and we get that thing dialed in a time or two?
90.
I'm 185 or I'm 190 now, and that bike does 78 pretty quick, like 78 miles an hour pretty quick
So
with
it's
me on it.
yeah.
Gotta
So
get 90 out of it.
Yeah. So I mean, with the right gearing and a light rider, it'll probably do 85, 90 pretty easily.
well,
Yeah.
I talked to Daryl, and Daryl claims that he's seen a 95, 97 mile an hour small block.
Yeah.
I am trying to, within the Roadkill Zip Tie Drag event in Tucson this coming January 2018, have a allocated time during that event and invite everybody who's a mini biker to come out.
When's the event?
It's mid-January 2018. It's a Friday, Saturday. It's a camp out deal. It's a Tucson dragway. You get there on Friday, you settle in, you make your little pit, whether you want to go on the grass or you want to go on the concrete. You set up, you test and tune until 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, everything shuts down.
Is it 8th mile?
It's a quarter mile. We can run eighth, we can run quarter, whatever we need to do, but it's a sanctioned NHRA track. 9 o'clock, we're done with test and tune. From 10 to like however you want to go, the little tiki bar's open. They've got a barbecue. They've got a big screen with excerpts of Roadkill playing. Following morning, you get up real early, and believe me, get up early. I'm just going to leave it at that. You don't want to go to those heads after 9 o'clock. I'll tell you. But you race all day Saturday. And in the middle of all the cool drag racing, we get our time. And we're flexible. You got to be ready to ride. And for those who don't want to drag race, because what we're looking for is somebody to go 100 miles an hour. Now, whether we do that, and I'm not really expecting us to do that anytime immediately soon, but I just want to begin the quest. And I'd like to do it where you have to meet a criteria to get in. You have to obviously pass inspection and tech. You have to pay to enter. There'll be sponsors. There'll be perks. But there's a very clear agreement that we'll have amongst the 10 or so I hope we get 10 or maybe 20. You have to get an even number of guys that will compete so I can get a designated block of time. But the way I'd like it to work is it's a round robin. And if you lose and you're out, we don't want you to go home. We want you to stay and help these guys because we're all looking to get towards 100. So if for whatever reason you got a really fast bike but you blew a rod and you're out, we'd love for you to just jump in and help him if he's still in it.
Oh yeah.
And that's the spirit of it.
That's what it's all about.
And if we can get that going and we can capture that on video, and meanwhile all the other guys who don't necessarily want to ride, maybe he comes and he grabs one of the bikes and he camps out with his son. While all the drag racing's going on, he's either watching, helping, or he gets to ride around the track. You can ride, and there's grass, and that's where I had a little stage race with D Racer.
Yeah.
In fact, we're going to give D Racer a call a little bit later on in the show. So D, if you're still up, Jake,
he's up.
Yeah, I know he's up. You don't fall asleep when you won the race, right? Part of the changes in the upcoming event had to do with the judging. And you've taken on a pretty important role that I thank you for as the head judge, so to speak. And I know we've got Ian and a few other folks that are helping out, and Ed, I know you volunteered to kind of babysit in some areas if we need your help. And Drew's going to be there.
Drew's coming out.
Yeah, Drew's coming. I mentioned I didn't finish the
Is he
point.
bringing Vicky?
He is. And
Okay.
Vicky, who helped you
I'm
before.
bringing Vicky, that's okay.
Well, he's coming. And unless something changes, he's a busy guy. We know that.
He's always doing
He's a cool guy.
something. He's
But he wanted to
always
come out,
doing
and I'm sure he says hi to everybody. We're talking about Drew. Drew's
up,
the
Drew?
man behind of OMB. Get down with OMB. We got a little OMB
Hint.
love over there.
Hint.
OMB.
Hint. I was on the site recently. One new guy, he's been a Joe's Minibike Reunion fan for about a week.
A week?
He went on the OMB site. He said he asked the question. He got pulverized. He has like some simple question, and they just
They hammered him?
Yeah, it's like that.
You got to be careful on those forums, man. They'll get you.
I told him, I said, don't worry about it. It's how it goes, man. And I said, and here's the thing: reread your question, and if it was stupid, check your ego at the door, and then reread the comments. And the ones that were really bad, those guys are going to be on there all the time. So get thick-skinned. You can
Gotta
deal
have
with it.
thick skin.
I got that one time.
I
remember.
got killed.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
Because I was talking to like something about drag race bikes, and I was like, so for all you drag guys, they were like, oh, wait a minute. I was like, whoa, okay. I got killed though. About the next 2 pages were like, yeah.
So I've been on there since 2007. And
Yeah.
it started in 2006. So
Yeah,
I'm kind of an old timer.
You
I
are.
haven't been on there lately.
Well, I noticed when you built Frankenstein for the competition there, you got a lot of love.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you got, and rightfully so. That bike should have won. I don't care that it's sitting here and it's mine.
No, they have a lot. They support me a lot on the forum. Yeah.
And they had a lot of good bikes entered in that build. And
Oh, man.
that's probably one of the biggest things within our hobby is that old OMB build off. You can find more about that on OMB or Old Minibike Warehouse, or you can ombit.com. It's available to you. What's that website say there?
OMBwarehouse.com.
Yeah, OMB Warehouse. We buy a lot of our stuff there. I always buy 2 of everything too.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're going to buy a clutch, buy 2 of them. You're going to buy some bolts. It's like buy every bolt, buy every
I know,
fitting.
because you can't go to
Anybody
like
that asks me?
Walmart and buy it.
No.
You have to.
Yeah.
You need one. You better buy 2 because you're going to need something else.
A lot of those
for another one.
little things for mini bikes that you got to have in your toolbox.
Yeah.
I give him and the OMB network, as well as the folks from Stutz, and for that matter, anybody, even if you look at Azusa, or maybe what the guys are doing locally with Big Belly Motorsports, the guys who've got their, who is it,
Belly.
George, down here, the mini bike shop.
GTs.
GT,
GT,
yeah. It's like all
yeah.
those guys who have these shops and these spots.
Ralph.
Yeah, I admire all those guys.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, I'm sure you have, Jake and Ed, you have, and I definitely have gone through that time where it's like, I just got to have my shop. I gotta have a shop. I need a place for like 20 bikes. I'm going to bring in Ed. I'm going to bring in Jake when I can. And we're going to build some bikes. We're going to have some rolling frames. We're going to have the wheels, the tires. And then you do all that. It's like, it's too tough out here. It's too tough in California, to have a brick and mortar. And everybody's doing it online. So they got it.
Yeah.
OMB got it. You sell everything online. You get a couple guys that handle the stuff, and you stay right on it. And he does. He stays right on that.
They're
And it's a
into
chainsaws
chainsaws now and stuff like
They all
that.
have.
Yeah.
It was like Eric too.
Bunch of different stuff like
Yeah.
when you go to Stutz, when you walk in the place, it looks like you're walking into a lawnmower or a tractor shop.
Yeah.
Because it's not just cutting grass. It's
They got to
snow
branch
removal.
out into that.
Yeah, and then that whole when you can see the metamorphosis transpire where it's gone from the go-kart stuff to now the main room is the mini bike shit. You can really tell that they're into it, and that was the thing that was cool about it when I checked it out, is seeing all their inventory and seeing all that stuff. Enough about that. But Jake, in addition to the builds, again, I was talking about you take on a pretty good role as the head judge. I just wanted to take a moment to let everybody know what categories we came up with for this year's event, as well as a brief description and how we're going to award it. We've got the following classes: a drag bike class, which is a bike that's built specifically for racing, right? We've got the restored class, which is a bike that is most accurately brought back to its original condition from the manufacturer. That's how we describe that.
Nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
Right.
A rat bike. A bike that most accurately depicts this popular rat rod style with the attention to theme and creativity. It's one thing to have a rusty old bike, but you have to have a spirit to it.
Yep.
And Jake's really, I think, going to be able to do a good job because you build bikes like that.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll have that attention for the detail as well. The survivor bike, the bike that most accurately reflected its original platform in its current state while withstanding time and elements.
That's the one I'm going to enter.
That's you.
Yep, that's you.
Yep,
You're a
it's all you.
survivor. Best under construction, the bike that is most impressive within its current state. Yeah,
That one too.
we've got a few under constructions.
That's under construction.
That was the smartest guy. The smartest promoter wasn't the guy who caught up with the event or came up with the event idea. It was like, so many of these guys that I talked to, their bike's just not done. It's like, well, shit, we got to come up with some best. Yeah, the guy came up with the best under construction. He didn't beat out the knock release guy, but they came from that same gene.
That's
They
good
were
though,
smart.
because the mini bike guys, bring them out no matter what.
The roller
Yeah.
and that frame or that phrase helped out too. Just roll it out.
Yeah.
Just bring your
Yeah.
roller out there. Mini motos. The mini motos are all these Honda Groms, particularly. I'd like to thank Honda of Glendale. I've also been working with Charlie and Pete from Honda Corporate in Torrance. We're getting close on a couple things that'll enhance their involvement, up to and maybe even giving away some full running brand new motorcycles. Kawasaki 125s and other shifter bikes like a CRF50, that would be a mini moto, a shifter bike, okay? Maximum 200 cc's.
Okay.
The scooters are the twist and go bikes, the Ruckus, the Metropolitans, the Zumas, the Vespas. If any of those bikes were to show up where it's no shifting, you just twist and go, that's that scooter category. The Honda Retro, and this is a strong contingent. In fact, the Honda Retro category represented 3 of the first 5 years winners. Chris Schneider's CT70.
Trail bikes and stuff.
Yeah, so that's a CT70, a Z50, or that QA50,
QA50.
that small one.
Yep.
I know that there's 90s, CT90s.
Yep.
I'm not putting them in that category.
Too big?
It's too ugly.
Too ugly.
And my buddy Greg Glass from BCII, he had one and brought it. I didn't know where it went. It was like an elephant showing up at a reptile show. It's like, all right, what are you going to do? Tell the elephant no one cares about him? But it's not a reptile. It's like, what do you do with this thing? So we'll find a spot for it. Drift bikes. All 3-wheeled engine-powered bikes built specifically for drifting. So if you got a drift bike, you want to bring it. And then more than 2 wheels. All bikes, including trikes, go-karts, one-off platforms utilizing more than 2 wheels. And then finally...
Trikes. Some nice trikes out there now.
Oh, there are.
Yeah.
And there'll be some questions as to whether or not we should have put the drift bike category within that, but I thought we'd just single out the drift category. And then I'll finish my point on the SEMA thing. Coleman, who had that bike that we're really not warming up to, let's face it, it's kind of like a thin-framed Chinese shipped in a box kind of a death trap. But I do think that there are some things you can do, like that hop-up kit that GoPowersports.com has. But they have a line of drift carts now that they're selling, and they're exhibiting at SEMA because they think that they can sell those to the masses because apparently they're selling the shit out of these drift bikes.
Damn.
These little 3-wheel, they're...
Yep.
In fact, Roadkill did a little video, and so did Hot Rod Magazine, on how to build one.
Yeah.
And books like that, especially in tandem, they can really awaken a category. They can create trends.
Oh, yeah.
So if Hot Rod does a story that these little drifting bikes are cool, a lot of these young guys are going to start getting into them. So they may have done something there. So those are the categories. Ultimately, within these categories, we have all the winners, and we allow the audience, by a round of applause, designate the first, second, and third place winners. The winner, the People's Choice winner, he's known as the Brad Elzey's People's Choice Award winner. Brad is one of the original Joe's Minibike Reunion participants who unfortunately was wiped out riding his Harley on Foothill Boulevard a couple years ago. And people are still in shock. It's sad. It's amazing. His wife, his son still come out there at last year's show. It's amazing. So we'll always continue to keep him going through that. And I love the fact that ultimately the people that show up, they vote by their round of applause. And I think that was very fair. We took last year's winner and we stuck him on the back of the rave card this year. So whatever I can do to promote the winner, they're great. They're great icons to point to. And again, we've had a lot of those Honda CT70s. Let's see some old school mini bikes show up this year. Let's see if we can go old school for a winner this year.
Oh, yeah.
All the Grom guys, looking forward to seeing you. We have a special Grom, and not necessarily a Grom, but the Mini Moto guys. We have a special judge who's going to help out specifically for that. And we also have a special judge, Luke, who's going to handle the traditional CT70 Z50 Q850. So we'll be able to concentrate on some of the
Cool.
U.S. vintage. Yeah, you got it. So it's all going to be good, all revamped judging. I've got to give a few shout-outs because I missed a lot of them last time, and there's no way I'm going to get to all these. So if I missed you, I'm sorry. We'll get to you another time. We've got another podcast slated for this month, don't we?
This month?
Yeah, we've got one at the end of this month because we were trying to catch up with 2.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now. We'll give you the date. Happy birthday to John Visconti from Italy, Eddie and Steve.
Knock or lose.
Knock or loose. We can send him out a case of knock or loose for his birthday.
Loose.
Our number one fan, Gail. Gail Tellerico, Kipper Kalea. Gail. We're going to see both Gail and Jerry. They're coming out to the show. Miranda. Corona Irving. Corona Irving is the one who had a question about, he wanted to know how Tim from Iski got into the cam business. And that's a pretty simple story, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Ed Escuderian, his dad.
His dad.
He's been racing since way back. I don't even know what like 20s, 30s maybe.
Yeah. Not quite the 20s, I don't think.
Huge name, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Iski, SEMA Hall of Famer, iconic guy.
Yeah.
That's Tim's dad.
yep.
And I think how it went is that he just let him fool around with some cams every once in a while in the other spare room with the spare machines. And
Yeah.
then he got a hint of the mini bike flavor. And Charles says that he remembers early on instigating Tim a little bit too. So somewhere through having your dad being Iski
Yeah.
and having access to some of that stuff. And like at some point, because I don't know about you, but early on we all pretended we knew what a cam was. So, hear that thing? It's got a cam, and it's like, yeah. We talked about that, right? It's like I'm sure he dealt with all that, and all the kids probably thought he knew everything about cars because his dad was Iski. So he made a way out of it, and it's been pretty recent. Like small engine cams.
Yeah.
Well, how long has he been around in terms of like selling stuff, Ed? Has it been
Small engine cam?
Yeah. Has it been 10 years?
He's
Less than that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Probably
Yeah.
like
he's
I don't
probably
know,
been
6 years.
Yeah, maybe 6 or 7. I think, yeah.
So that's how he got into it, Corona, and we are awaiting how they came up with that black Mamba. It's not Kobe. Again, we're not sure if it's Charles.
You guys said it on one of the podcasts when he was here.
Yeah. So
I forgot though.
well, I guess there's a way we can find out. You can go back and listen to one of Iski's early podcasts on YouTube.
That one with Iski and Charles, I think.
I just found something out. We're in the money. He told you that we got a check for $10 from somebody. But if we can get 100 comments on one particular video, not collectively, but if we can get 100 comments on one video, then we start to make ourselves eligible for either ratings or we make some kind of benchmark or watermark to get recognized on YouTube. So if you're bored as shit and you listen to this, which you must be, then at some point when this video, or maybe a video that's already on there, make a comment. I don't even care if it's a bad comment, right? They didn't say it had to be good. Just make a comment. If you want to lie, make a good comment on YouTube because we're on there and we're really hoping that next year is our coming out on a YouTube capacity. In having 13 episodes and doing what we can to make it fun and entertaining. Maybe we'll do a few episodes covering some builds. We'll do a couple episodes of buying some bikes. We'll do a couple episodes visiting some friends in Detroit or wherever. maybe have a few based on the event, or who knows, have a 13th one where we can run all our bloopers. But if we can get that in there and we can get some things going, we'll have some fun with Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast as it evolves into the YouTube show. Gerald celebrated a birthday. Our good buddy Gerald. I hope you're feeling better. Shout out to Temecula Bob, Fernando Guzman, Gail Banks of Gail Banks Engineering.
Really?
Just like Joe's Minibike Reunion today.
Cool.
All right, Gail Banks.
Kyle Moody, I know him.
Kyle Moody. My buddy Rich Robatello, he flew in. He's a pilot for Delta, and we thought we were going to hook up with him quick, but Linda and I drank too much wine. We couldn't meet up with him. He was in downtown L.A. last Sunday, and like there was a Ram game going on, and he had to be back early because he had like a red-eye flight. It's like, this is not going to happen. We need 2 hours to recover, let alone get out of this house. So we missed you, Rich, but Diego Rosenberg, a former Hot Rod Magazine staffer, as well as John Barkley, another former Hot Rod guy. Mundo, Ronnie DeSalvatore, Minibike Paul, Boyd James, famed photographer, Scott Wallstrom, Dave and Mimi, my Grom buddy Richard Anaya, the world's best drag racing announcer, bar none. You're hearing him now live on Drag Week, which airs on the Motor Trend channel, Brian Loans. Brian, love you doing a great job. You did a great job for us with Roadkill. You and Freiberger in tandem. You guys are the best drag racing announcers since Steve and Dave McClellan. David Carr, Letty Smith Brown, Preston Blevins, Dave Mendez, Donald Crowder. How you doing, Donald? Ivan Hawker, Charlie Fusi, Billy Powell. Charlie Fusi.
Charlie.
Yeah, he's our guy who won the small engine cams last week.
He's out there by me.
Yeah, he's by you.
Yeah.
Adam Blackburn, Tim Murphy, our man D.
D. West
Eric,
Coast.
Brian Hovland, Larry Kretschel, Steve Rositano, Marv, Linda Hargrave, Joe Morrow. Get well, Joe. You fell off a ladder. That's not good. You should have people climbing ladders for you by now. Matt Boyce, Dane Hurd, Hondo Miller, Scott and BJ Colleen, Kenneth Mees, Justin Wilcox. I'll see you at Roadkill Zip Tie Drags. We already talked about Eric at Stutz, Crispy Mini, Scott, Ramiro Padilla, Shane Fuller, Alan Bryan, Greg Nivens, Kevin Blakeman, Pierre Bruglo, Tom Hay, Tucker Miller. There's too many. We'll get you next time. Those are shout-outs. Ed, hold this in case anything ever happens to the frame. Got a receipt.
Oh, okay.
Hey, got paperwork.
Made my house.
Got paperwork.
You got some paperwork. I seem to think we're missing something, and here's what it is. It's the questions, so we can give away our camshaft from Small Engine Cams. We're going to call somebody up, and let's do that. All right, what are we going to do here? I'm going to call from my phone, and this is on. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so if you sent in a question, we've got a few. We'll read a few here for us. Well, there's
Call outs.
One there. I'd like to thank the following folks for sending in questions. Garrett Shander. You want to take a little stab at this? Garrett is going to come out to the Minibike Reunion, which is really cool. Looks like he's an athlete. On a GX390 big block. The cops are coming for us, Ed.
I think so. They're looking for this frame.
Yeah.
Well, we're right where we scrubbed off the serial number. Tell them we can explain that. On a GX390 big block, Garrett wonders, it has static compression of about 11.65 and 10-to-1 compression. He's asking about what degree of timing could he push his engine if he's using methanol.
That's one of those drag racing.
That's one of those-
GX390 block, a
One of those
66.
Dustin Lee or Charles questions.
Yeah, if anybody's out there, that's what I was thinking, Charles. It's a GX390
I don't know.
block,
What do they
Charles.
normally set them at? Like 34?
Small blocks, I think they sell at like 36.
Yeah, probably,
Okay.
it's probably a little lower on the big block, 34.
34, 36 range.
Yeah.
We'll put this out there for the rest of the folks listening. Garrick's got a GX390 block. It's at a 66 millimeter crank, 88.25 flat top. It's got a 4.41 rod. It's got an Isky 330 246 on a 110, 1.3 roller rockers, and a Clemens 34 millimeter pumper bar. He's going fast. It's a drag bike, obviously, you know.
Should run good.
Big blocks, right? So who knows? 34, 36?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, good question there, Garrett. Hopefully help you out there. Again, there's a lot of other guys, especially not
Yeah.
only Charles out here, but
Charles or
Daryl.
George or
George.
those guys would know for
And,
sure.
We'll get knocked
Yeah.
up for that one.
Yeah.
Or lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys are full of
Hey,
shit.
Jake
You ever
don't know
set that
timing
at
for shit.
34? Yeah, I know. It really builds those
No,
bikes.
there's a lot of guys out there that know these.
Tom Drzwicki. Tom is the guy who did this design.
That's it.
I know Tom.
Yes. So
Simple Tom.
he did that design. Isn't it cool?
It's awesome.
So I
I
spoke.
like his work.
It's kind of the Rat Fink mini bike look.
So here's what an asshole I am, though. It's like
Joe.
I can't do it after fucking Eric did it. Right? Like this is Eric's second
Yeah.
edition of that. Because the faces, I mean, what's he gonna do?
Yeah.
Put a thin mustache on there and make me? So
Put a tongue or
So
something.
here's what I am gonna do. I'm not gonna have him design my T-shirt because I'm gonna use the traditional Joe's with a little bit of a different back, and I'm gonna delve out there with your line, with your special line, because I think the Evil Ed line.
Heck yeah.
And so that's what we're going to do. And then maybe Tom could help us design a poster for next year,
Oh, that'd be cool, yeah.
you know? And maybe we can give him some photos from the real event that he can characterize. And so we will do some business eventually with you, Tom, but right now Eric beat me to the gun because that's too cool for me to steal. So to answer your question, if you're wondering if we are still waiting on a T-shirt design, don't hold your breath for this year, but next year we'll do a poster. How's that? Thanks for listening to Tom. D. Rivas, call me. Let's do this. Well, you know D. D is the guy who
West Coast.
West Coast mini bike.
West Coast Mini Bikes goes everywhere. Wherever there's something going on, he goes and he captures it digitally. He brings the drone out. He brings his bike out. He stuck his mini bike in the back of one of those one-cylinder Toyota Kia fucking one doors. And had a beautiful young girlfriend and all his camping shit in the back of this little car. And it stuffed the mini bike in there, drove to Arizona, and hung around with us for a couple days. And it started to rain before we even had a chance to drag race. But while we were there, I had just brought Frank out, Frankenstein, and he had his bike, which is a pretty, built bike. It's probably like a 10 horsepower bike or somewhere around there.
His run's pretty good.
Yeah.
It'll do like 65
it's a
or
nice
70.
bike.
Something like that.
And we were just having fun, and we were riding alongside. I dropped my hat, so let's go. And Frank jumped on him, and then D just blew by me. And I think that video lies somewhere in the bowels of mini bike videos online somewhere.
Watched it a few times, yeah.
Yes, I think
Pretty
D
good.
goes to sleep with watching it all the time. But he's also a really cool guy, and he's a bass player. And I'm sure that this email from D, I got to wear my glasses, D. That's another reason why you beat me, because I'm old and I can't see. Let's see what David Rivas D said. Hey, Joe, my name is
David.
Dave, and my question is, who will win? D raced on his bike mashing or Big Joe on Frankenstein in the quarter mile? And he's got his phone number. We'll have to call him just for some fun. But again, I don't have a ton of time. We're going to run a little bit late, but not too far. Willie Bush, let's see what your question is. You've been working on karts and mini bikes since you were 10 with your dad, and you're 32 now. Well, that's cool, 22 years. Yeah, you're getting there. Ed's beard's 22 years old. His question is, what do you think of the Predator series of engines when they first hit the scene, and why has it been such a big success? I love them personally, LOL. Well, yeah. Now, you're on the East Coast, though. A 903 number reminds me of, like, Memphis, I think.
Yeah.
So we may not wake you up for this. You guys can answer that question. I think it's pretty popular, right? Overhead valves and, things don't fucking break. They're $99.
It's a modern design and it's cheap.
Plus they have
And
the
you can
heavy
buy any part you need for them.
Predator heavy.
Easy
Yeah.
parts.
Yeah.
Go to
Not
Craigslist
available
anytime.
in California.
GX200 or
Wide line.
There was a little better, but
I've got the 3 horsepower for the little bike back there.
yep.
We've got the 6.5s everybody fools around with. Now they've got the Hemis. And then if you lift up the Pioneer, you got a...
Boom! What?
What is that?
A 670
24.
twin.
Take that back, find something for it, would you? That's your project. That's yours and Frank's next project.
All
We're gonna-
right.
We're going to put car wheels on it.
Can make that work.
We'll make a mini bike with car wheels.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that engine on a Harley.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Think
power,
about it. It's
man.
a cheap. You go to $600, you can power your Harley with that thing.
Blow your
So
head
putting it
out
on a
and
mini
put
bike,
it in one.
and the one I wanted to do, in fact, Frank already has it. You've seen the big fat bike it's all raw with the red wheels and the white walls. It's like a roller. It's out there. I'll send you some photos. That's
right.
what I wanted to do with that.
All right.
Yeah, it was on sale. They're like $1,200, and I saw it for $600. I thought I was like the smartest guy around. Now they're like $400. You know, they always get you. So that's why the Predators are out there. They're affordable. A ton of parts, new that you can buy, and very big inventory of used parts for those Predators. So that's probably why. And we're gonna take it a step further, Willie. We're gonna take a look at the Titan, which is a similarly spirited off-road engine, similar to the Predator that's used by the Go-Kart USA folks. They love them. It's very similar in design, similar in displacement and horsepower. Has an electric start. I don't know what else it has that's much different. We'll find out. We're going to get one. They're shipping it. In fact, I got a FedEx notice. We're going to get a box of the engine and some hop-up parts. We'll have that on the next podcast to check it out. But the Titan could conceivably be an alternative to that. But yeah, a lot of Predator fans. Traditionally, the Tecumsehs and the Briggs and Stratton, as the popularity with the Predators grow, the Tecumsehs and the Briggs will be much more sought after. There's a certain coolness that those vintage Tecumsehs and Briggs have over those Predators that they'll never be able to attain.
They're asking
The
a
sound.
fortune now for vintage Tecumsehs. ain't
Yeah. That flathead, traditional 5 horsepower, even the 4 horsepowers. I've given up on the 3, 2.5. I saw a 2 1/4
I
offered.
Had a 2 1/4
Did you?
Once.
I thought
It ran pretty good.
I wouldn't doubt it.
It was in a Nova mini bike.
Yeah. Oh,
I
okay.
drove it from North Hollywood to the Cantina.
A 2.5.
2
Damn,
1/4.
that's a 20-mile-an-hour top speed bike, if
yeah,
that.
was with the SFVISBF.
And I always gave you a torque converter with those things, like you're gonna fucking do something with it,
Yeah,
right?
I drove that thing from North Hollywood Park all the way.
Here's
out
what they
to
were.
Cantina.
They were dependable. They were dependable. You know, it's like a 50cc little scooter. It's like it's never going to keep up, but it's always going to start, right? That's what you got with those bikes. But if you can get your hands on, I know that you're a big fan, Willie, of the Predators. Dude, if you can find a 5 horsepower Tecumseh, if you could find, Dave Miller was a fan of the 4 horsepowers. He liked the 4 horsepowers over the 5s. He said he felt they were torqueier. And there was a special setup with the 4 horsepower where they offered the exhaust a way or two, either a right hand or left hand side. There was a particular side exhaust exit that was the particular 4 horsepower that he liked. If you go back to the Dave Miller
Tecumseh's always swap them
podcast,
around.
yeah, and you can flip around the air cleaners too,
Yeah.
and they'll set up differently. I've got a few of them lurking in here. That 5 horsepower that Ed built for me,
It's a beauty.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's got the chrome kicker, and I've got an original CR400 orange chopper with the original 4 horsepower. I think it's got a new carb on it, but everything else is stock.
Yeah.
We're going to make one call, and then we're going to close this thing down.
Gotta give the cam away.
Yes, we're just going to get to look at a couple more of these questions. Joe will... those are all. Okay. Dan Thomas, the best way to tune a Tillotson carb on methanol on gas. Any tricks? You have Tillotson that was originally on Frankenstein,
Yeah.
and it seemed a little complicated in comparison to like these slider Makunis.
Yeah, they're kind of they're.
What's
real
the advantages
tricky.
of those carbs?
Well, they have like a diaphragm pump in them, which pumps the fuel already.
That's what
so
makes it
they usually
delicate,
run. They're pretty good for performance if you have them tuned right.
Yeah.
But they are tricky tuning. Like
Yep.
you have to start. Like I used to always go on like Tillotson's website, the Wizard or whatever,
Yeah.
and then he gives you like all your start. Like they tell you to start with like a certain amount of screws out, and then tune from there. Like ride the bike, and if you have like, if it's cutting out top end or down low, then you know to turn the high speed, low speed. They give you like a whole tuning guide on there.
Yeah, on that Delordo,
Yeah.
which is on that Indian Papoose bike that Ed's been helping me with.
Yeah.
That Delordo carb, just like a Tolson, or for that matter, a Makuni, there's like 2 or 3 adjustments, and there is a step-by-step. It is the air fuel, and then it is the idle, and then once you get to
Yeah.
a certain spec, you back down. There is a tiered structure that I don't think it's uniform for all of them. I don't think you tune a Delordo like you do a Tolson, or you
Yeah,
know,
and Tillotsons are weird too because the diaphragm works. They have like a pop-off pressure,
Pop off.
which controls your fuel coming in. So it works off the vacuum of the engine, and then it actually hits
have to
your
have a
needle,
gauge to
letting
set
gas
that.
in.
Any tricks or tips that you can offer from tuning on those things like you have for a while?
Pop-off gauge.
Yeah, they have a special gauge for the pop-off pressure and all that. And then once you have your pop-off pressure set to your engine, it's supposed to run like the
Got
best.
it. So
And then
that
it's all-
gauge is
Then it's all in tuning your low and high speed
cool.
stuff, yeah.
Well, the pop-off gauge will maybe give you that ability to
Yeah.
make it idiot-proof.
What is it? Competition Carbs? I think they sell a really nice Tillicin, and you can give them your specs, and they set everything up for you. They'll
Great.
ship it right out to you.
Online?
Yeah.
Are they a
yeah.
West Coast company? Do you know?
Competition Carbs. I don't know where they're out of, but I see
Okay.
them on Facebook all the time.
Yeah, so check out Competition Carbs. Maybe they can help you with that. All right, we're going to make a call here. And I because it's so friggin' late, I don't have the balls to call some poor bastard on the East Coast now. So let's try our man D.
D. Oh, D.
All right. Hey, thanks for showing up tonight, Jake. Thanks for the
Yeah.
good work. And while I'm dialing up D, do you have a chance to put a light on Frankenstein?
There she is.
So Frankenstein, as you know, is a big hit at the SEMA show. We're not only presented inside the CRC booth, but we were also asked by the folks from NHRA if we could put it in their display in the grand lobby. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I see how cool it was, and they were walking by, Top Fuel and Pro Stock cars, like they were swatting them like Camaros, and they were trying to figure out what the hell that bike was and why it was there, and they were just loving it. And then it was the last vehicle out of the SEMA cruise. When I was finally done with that, dropped the mic, one start. I pulled that thing, one pull, fired up.
I was kind of nervous about that because we still had the Tillicin on
You
there.
made this awesome stand
Yeah.
with Frankenstein and Roadkill and CRC. It was a big hit. So I had Frankenstein staged so that when I was done, I could just jump on it. And it was also there for everybody to view while they were sitting in the stands watching the cruise. Well, when I took off on that, this thing's there. So I'm like one of the last few guys there, and I reached out to my good buddy Rich Ininga. He works for Freeman. It's like, Rich, do me a favor. It's like, take this thing across the street to SEMA Cruise. He's like, he just grabs. He's like a big old muscle bound guy. He grabs it like he's spinning a tray table from a cocktail waitress, and he brings it over. And it ended up with my buddy Tim, who sells all the apparel for the SEMA show, and it stayed down in Orange County. Somehow it got to Tim, and it got back to SoCal, but it stayed there, and I picked it up like last week. And it was great timing because I just get Frankenstein. So with Frankenstein, after I had raced D, what I loved about that bike is the look. If I want to put a really fast engine in there, we've been talking to him about modifying and putting this engine in there, putting that engine that we just built, the 16 horsepower Predator, if I wanted to go fast, that's what we would do. I didn't want that because I'm too old to fall off a bike that fast. So we wanted something dependable. I had that brand new 5 horsepower IC that I bought from James, and I wanted it to go somewhere, and it seemed perfect for that. And we didn't do much to it. We put the pipe on there, and we let it breathe a little bit, and different Tillicin carb originally. And it's a heavy bike. It's like a dirt bike weight.
It's heavy, yeah.
How much do you think that thing weighs? 100 and
Yeah.
40?
150 probably, something
easy,
like that.
yeah. And you can just tell by the girth of it.
Yeah.
So once it took off great, it rides great. I'm all over the brake. I'm not worried about that. It works perfect. One of the scariest things is that
You gotta
suicide
get used
brake.
to it, yeah.
Yeah, but you have to get used to it. There's no way to feather it. You can't keep your arms on the handlebars and feather it. It's a pull off. So I got all that down. I just wanted to go faster. So Jake made me aware of a polished head that who had that? Ian from CB.
Yep.
We swept carbs because the Tillicin was just a little bit of a prick. He had it a time or two, and I wanted dependability. And what else did we do to it?
It's got high tension springs on it.
Yep.
A little bit of port work done. I did
Oh, thanks.
recently to it. Yeah.
Great.
So I just cleaned up some of the sharp edges. 5 horses have almost like a 90-degree sharp edge in there, which you can clean them up and helps them out pretty
We
easy.
just wanted to go a little faster.
Yeah. So I just cleaned it up.
Cam in it?
No, because we said once we got to that point, it's like, you know what? Now I'm going to start to get where I don't
You do a
want to go.
cam, then you got to do a rod, then you got to do a flywheel, then you got to do everything else.
So what I was going for with this was I've got that engine done, Ed. Like I've got that engine right there to bolt in anytime.
Right.
This one here, I wanted to show up everywhere and just be able to pull. And I wanted to keep it just like we were talking about.
Pretty reliable now.
Yeah, and it's a Briggs. It's like we were talking about having that cool vintage with that one off. So thanks for the time you took on that. I really haven't taken ownership of it because I've had it and then it's been gone. And then when I've had it, it's been somewhere.
You can enjoy it now. It runs a little better with that carb.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Dude,
start it right up. Just go. It's fine.
Well, thank you for all the work on that one. Congrats on the great work that you did on your custom bike.
Yeah, thanks.
Ed, your Bonanza, as it starts to, well, as soon as you find your engine,
Bonanza's killer. I like that.
you're going to be good to go. Jake,
Looked a long time.
what's happening with you? I know you'll be right back here 30 days from now for the Minibike show. What do you got coming up this next couple
yeah.
weeks? What are you working on at the shop?
I got a few things going on. I was actually trying to help a few other guys with their bikes, trying to get them going.
Oh,
Probably
how
won't
cool,
bring a
dude.
lot of bikes this year. I'll probably bring like just that and maybe one other bike
Okay.
that I'm working on.
How's Midgie's deal doing?
Who? Oh, Majis, yeah, that's one of I'm kind of helping him out, trying to get his done.
Good. I
But
see
it's a
his
cool little custom frame. He's got an animal motor and stuff on it. So
his Instagram, Built Minibikes. Is that what it is?
yeah,
Built Minibikes.
Mini bikes, yeah.
Yeah, that's coming
shooting
along.
up. I think last time we were at 1,300. Now it's almost at 1,800.
On Instagram.
Just in that short amount of time, yeah.
Well,
So,
yeah, because he's into it.
Yeah,
That's how I was
of
trying
course,
to do
yeah.
when he came last time. It's like anybody like Ian's one of those guys too. It's like these guys they're going to have to carry on with what we're trying to start here,
Yeah.
and those guys just need a little bit of a boost.
He's into it, and he posts like a good variety of bikes, like not just not
saw
just your
that.
custom, like
Yeah.
real nice bikes.
Yeah.
If some guy posts their bike that they're working on, and it's just it's just their bike that they like, he'll shout it out.
So if you've got a cool bike project, whether it's under construction or finished, or you're looking for a little bit of help, go ahead
Send it
and
in.
send it into Built Minibikes on Instagram.
Yep.
Ed, enjoy your frame.
Oh yeah, thanks. Thanks,
Well-
Go Kart
That's
USA.
sweet.
Yeah. That's a cool little setup. Emmanuel, we'll get the date out for the next Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast.
He's leaving us.
The one good thing about leaving to go out of town for the Roadkill event is Emmanuel's moving
Yeah.
during that time.
You don't have to help.
Well, I helped a little bit. I did. I helped a little bit. It was UFC night.
Oh yeah.
I was 3 out of 5. Or
UFC.
I went 2 out of 5. I was terrible picking
Oh, yeah.
those recent UFCs. We helped move Emmanuel's garage, as we talked about earlier. Did you completely get out of there?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Good.
It's Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast, folks. We hope you enjoyed it. Let's give Dave Rivas a call, and then we're going to finish this thing up really quick here. Let's go. Got a little bit off track there. Usually.
September 27th is our
September 27th is the next podcast, if you'd like to make a note of that. 3-3.
September 27th.
2. Are you that day you're getting married?
No, that's the day. The next day is Max.
Is the 27th wouldn't be right because that would be a Friday
it's a
night.
Wednesday.
No, so then that can't be right. Let's look at the calendar.
I want to talk to D about setting.
Can you look
something
in the
on
calendar on your phone, Ed?
No, I got my phone
September
wrong.
27th, Wednesday.
So the 28th,
Hump day.
29th. So he's the 30th then, I bet, Eddie. I bet the MacFest is 30. We'll find out from D. He'll know. Do I put him on speaker?
Yep.
And then you're on here?
Yep.
Hello.
What's happening, D?
How's it going?
I'm doing good, man. How about you, brother? You've been busy, I see.
Doing?
Ed's-
Oh yeah, man. I'm actually just got to band practice. How's it going? Am I on the air?
You
yeah,
are.
you're on the air. I got Jake Moe with me. I've got Evil Ed here with me, and we're finishing up the podcast. Hey, D, do you know when the MacFest is this year?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Do you know when the MacFest is? Is it the 30th? When Mac has his
I
little...
thought it was I believe it was the 23rd, if I'm not
23rd,
mistaken.
maybe.
Oh, the 23rd?
Oh, you know why I'm saying the 28th? I
What?
think Max having an eye surgery on the 28th.
Ah, we were going to show up the day he was having eye surgery. So it's D.
Oh, yeah, here it is right here.
Okay, hold on.
Mac posted going for a cataract surgery on my left eye on September 28th.
Sorry, D, we're having a
So
cataract
it is
eye
like
surgery.
the 23rd or something.
Is it,
Oh, no worries.
so on the 23rd,
That's a perfect match for that.
D, you have been you've been working like a monster. You've been playing your bass, and you've been harassing me about kicking my ass on the mini bikes. How do you manage to keep so busy?
Oh man, well it's tough, let me tell you. But it's tougher when you have to hear your name called out about getting their asses kicked this time and stuff. So I figure I'd dish it back this time, you know?
D, I've always prefaced that by saying that you're always there at every event, supporting every event, taking photos. I always say how you came out with that car with one wheel, with the mini bike inside of it. You came all the way to Tucson and supported it. What a great guy. And I ultimately have to concede that you beat me every time I tell the story.
Man, that's all good.
Well, I'm ready for you.
What's gonna happen?
I shipped the bike back out to Jake
I
Moe
told Mike or Matt,
because I told
will
him,
your brother sell me parts on the day?
Ed's reading an email from,
I don't allow.
I told him, I
to sell
said,
my
this thing's
parts.
got to go a little
My parts
faster.
have no value.
Just a little bit faster so I can keep up with D, because I'm hoping, D, that we revisit our race this coming January 2018 for our rematch at Tucson Dragway. And I'm confident that I can show a little better than last time.
Oh, you gonna put George's motor on it?
Same motor. No. Same motor. Jake, tell him what you did to the motor so he knows.
Oh, we did a little stuff, top secret.
So we got
You mowed it?
No, we put a new spark plug in there.
Yeah,
We changed the spark plug.
special oil.
Which one do we use? E3. We put an E3 spark
Oh,
plug.
nice.
Yeah, and we're going with a different oil.
I was on Charles's Facebook, getting all those oil. Did you see that?
Yeah, make sure you fill up your blinker fluid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook. The poor lady sent her son inside the store to go ask for blinker fluid. Fucking kid came out like an idiot. Serves him well.
Blinker fluid and come out
Hey,
with a
when's the next ride, D?
When you riding again, D?
Oh man, we need to make some time to get back out there, Jake. And I haven't ridden since then, and I haven't raced anyone since I kicked Joe's ass. Yeah, but we need to set something up. The weather's cooled down, and I see everybody else having a blast around the country but us. So we
Yeah.
need to get back out there.
It's time. We'll figure it out. I'll talk to you soon.
D, you've got to come with.
Yeah, man, set it up.
You've got to come to Detroit. That velodrome on its own. Not to mention that all these guys like Scott Stubbins from Crispy, he has a fucking compound. It's like a compound, man. It's like grass and trails and garages and
Yeah.
we'd be sick. We would hate mini bikes after being there for a few days. We'd be riding so much. There's also a lot of guys that are getting hurt because they're riding in the streets with total disregard. So the cops are almost in a zero tolerance for that. You see some of those
That's
videos.
part of it, yeah.
These guys are doing like wheelies on ATVs right in front of the cops, and they're throwing their face. And ultimately, what happened is somebody got killed out there, and that's when all this shit changes really quick. Rightfully so. Well, D, look, I'm happy to say congratulations. You've won a small engine cam.
Oh! He's gonna beat you worse.
I'll make sure Tim doesn't pick sides on this one and give me a stock cam with a
Well,
screen on it.
You got a D-lift.
Just for a second, if for a minute you think that I would send you a bad cam so that you can put it in your engine before we raced, I don't know what would make you think that, but I can tell you that I would remotely think about. No, I wouldn't.
My phone's doing that. I'm checking it. And I don't
Kidding,
have
man. Thanks. I appreciate it. Actually, I'm gonna go see Tim actually pretty soon. Get a couple things. Get mashing back going up again, and I have this Cat 400X that I've been just staring at. I haven't done nothing with. So yeah, trying to get back into it. Just life takes over, bills, mortgage, and insurance, and it's just it's crazy. It's crazy. Got to keep busy. I'm too busy.
Have you dropped that drone yet?
I crashed the drone the second day I owned it, and ever since then I've been pretty decent with it because I learned my lesson, and it cost me a pretty penny to get it back going again.
Well, I hope that you can bring it on October the 14th. If you're around, you can come up to the mini bike show. We look forward to seeing you with open arms.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll be there, and I'll be in Arizona again too. So, Jake, you better start wrenching on that bike.
It's done.
We'll figure it out.
Hey, D, thanks. Congratulations again. Thanks for listening. Have a great rest of the week. And we'll catch up with you next time. And we'll see you October the 14th at beautiful La Crescenta at CV Park.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. See you then.
See you, D.
Later, buddy.
D Racer.
Thanks, bud.
Yep, D's got Mashin. That's his bike. Cool guy. You can see more about D Racer online. There's a Facebook page. What is it called? West Coast Minibikes?
West Coast Minibikes.
Yeah, and what other ones are we checking out? You got the ones up there in Antelope Valley, or is it AV?
Yeah, there's like
Minibikes?
an AV. I think it's like a Craigslist type thing.
What do you check out when you're looking online? Which ones do you
Actually,
to?
check out the LA ones. To be
Yeah.
honest, they're the biggest ones.
I've been doing
Like
that
the
in
mini
Detroit.
bike. There's just a
Miami
mini
guys,
bike one.
Miami guys got a little bit something going on there too.
The Detroit stuff is actually pretty cool. They have a lot of stuff on there. The Detroit mini bikes.
Yeah, I never thought I'd say I look forward to going back to Detroit, right?
Yeah.
But having fun meeting those guys and riding out there, it was a good
go.
time. Yeah,
We gotta go.
All those guys, you hear them, they all want you out there too. They want me to bring E in the cameras too, so we'll see what's going on.
Yeah.
Folks, it's Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast. We had a good one tonight. We hope you did the same. We had a chance to check out custom drag bike, the Jake Moe Bill. Had a chance to take a look at the updated Frankenstein. Had a chance to check out Evil Ed's vintage Bonanza. It's 30 days away from Joe's Minibike Reunion podcast, October the 14th. Brought to you by Pioneer. Keep an eye on the Facebook page for more information. We'll see you again the end of the month for our next podcast. Have a safe rest of the night. Have a great rest of the week. And
See ya.
all our folks back there in Florida and Houston, hope you guys recover well. See you next time.
Joe's Minibike Show.